You see him? Which side? Okay. Not yet. Oh, yeah. You hang on to it, just use the shirt.
Yeah.
Hey Joseph, got to talk to you about what's going on here today, okay? I got all of your messages to Maddie right here. I don't want to cause a scene. I think we should just sit down and have a talk somewhere. Sound good?
Yeah.
We're filming for safety reasons, so you can be assured nobody's here to harm you in any way, okay? All we want to do is have a conversation. Sound all right? All right, cool. Let's go sit over there. Turn your mic off. So how's it going? Good. Let's find an empty table. I don't want anybody hearing us either, you know what I mean? We can, damn, God, a lot of, let's go. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, let's go sit right here. And like I said, the cameras are for protection purposes, so you know, okay, cool. I'm Gordon, by the way, pleasure to meet you. Cool. Okay. So what's going on today?
I mean, I came down here to see her, hang out with her, you know?
Yeah. And I guess before we get into anything, her name was Maddie?
Yes, yeah, that's what she told me.
Okay. How old was she?
She told me she was young.
Yeah, like under 18 young?
Yeah.
How old?
But like,
Was it 13?
I don't remember what she said.
But you just know it was under 18?
I know that, man.
Okay.
I mean, I've never done anything like this, you know what I'm saying?
Right. And like I said, I know this is like your first time, so that's why I'm just here having a talk because, you know, like if I believe that you were if I believe this was a habit, like I wouldn't be here talking to you, you know what I mean?
I got you.
But, you know, obviously, you know, you're somebody that's gone through a lot in your life and, you know, rather than this, you know, I just want to get through this together rather than this being like more of a, you know, I think this can be set straight, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
gotcha.
yeah. So, I mean, I got to ask before anything. I mean, you know, obviously her profile said 13 here.
I didn't really look at her profile, so.
Okay. But you just knew she was younger than 18 the whole time, like underage young?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, you know, before we get into really what was said to Maddie here, I mean, you know, I know you've done a great job in life controlling yourself, like, you know, obviously with your brother passing. Are you part of the too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Oh, dude. I got uncles that are part of that, man, so I know. I mean, it's more of a necessity to be in that rather than a choice, you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, anyway, you played any sports? You're pretty big.
I used to, yeah.
Yeah, football player?
Yeah, whenever my brother died, I kind of fell out of everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I never had a sibling die, but yeah, I've had cousins go to jail and cousins get shot up, so I mean, I know what it's like, dude. I know it happens, dude. But, all right, so, you know, obviously before we get into anything said to Maddie, like, when did this all, like, start for you?
What do you mean? Like with her?
Not with Maddie, just in general, because, you know, it was mentioned, like, kind of this attraction.
Yeah, but it wasn't really like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't really intense or nothing, you know what I mean? It was just something that I thought about sometimes, you know what I mean? And it was
Right.
It's more like chicks are like 17, 16, 17, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it's nothing like...
Why don't I get a little bit closer here? I'm kind of hard of hearing. Yeah. Just let in the mall.
Like I really, you know what I'm saying? I thought about not even coming up here. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because it's awkward for me.
Right. Like, because I'm just saying, like, on your following, and you said yourself that this would be your first time and everything, like, I know that, but on your following, there's, you know, quite a few young ladies under 18, I should say. Like, you know, I know it's not like kids, like, it's not freaking, you know, like a 5-year-old, that's like a kid. But kind of like younger adults, like 13, 14, that's like on your following.
If you could actually look now, I erased all of those because I was feeling uncomfortable about it. You know
Right.
So I related a lot.
So it's been more of something kind of like, it's been more of something you kind of battle with, in a way?
I guess, yeah.
Mm-hmm. When did those battles kind of start? Like after high school or before? Or?
I don't know. I really don't. Honestly, I couldn't pinpoint it.
Yeah. So it's just been going on for at least a few years, you'd say?
I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not nothing really intense or like I
Right.
can control it.
It's just an online thing.
No, not even that really. You know what I'm saying? I was just, I don't know. Sometimes I would think about it. It wasn't really. I don't know. It's not something that I ever imagined even indulging in. You know what I'm saying? I would think about it, but it wasn't nothing like serious.
Right, right.
Like I even told her, it made me uncomfortable. You know what I mean?
Right. And like I know like in the messages there was nothing forced or anything like that. Like, okay. So, I mean obviously, you know, it seemed like you really did care about her and everything like that.
I think she's a sweet girl.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it wasn't, you know, obviously there's very like bad people online, I'm sure you know, that, you know, their plans are to come here, kidnap, which I know you weren't going to do that. Yeah, like I know you were going to do that.
I wasn't even really going to, you know what I mean? She, like, whenever I would say something to her, I'm like, I'm going to stop, you know what I'm saying? And she was like, no, just keep going, keep going. And
yeah, but I mean, I know like I'm not even talking about that, like, you know, obviously the
saying,
message
like,
got, but
there's some people out
that want to like chop people up and
just the kidnapping, you know, and then
exactly.
Is horrible.
Right, right. Like I know, I'm pretty sure everything that would have happened today would have just been consensual. Like.
Yeah, but definitely. But like, I definitely wouldn't even try to force anything. You know
right.
What I mean? Like,
right. Exactly. So you know, like I said, I think we can cut through a lot of this. Like, would anything that would have happened today would have just have been consensual?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what I mean? I wouldn't have tried to put any kind of pressure or anything.
Right. So basically, like. I'm just going to throw this out there because I know you mentioned like no today, but like, so as for example, like just not like penetration, but just like, you know, maybe just if she wanted to, like I
couldn't tell you that, you know what I'm saying, because I don't know, it didn't happen, you know what
right.
I mean? So,
but like, was that the plan only if she wanted to?
Yeah, well,
okay.
I don't even know if I would do it then, you know what I mean, because like I said, this makes me really uncomfortable,
right.
You know what I mean? It was uncomfortable from the beginning.
Of course.
I try to stop talking to her a lot of times, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there were some pretty long messages. I mean, I think both of you guys got kind of like a little bit carried away. Yeah. Like, because again, you know, she was messaging you too, you were messaging her, and you know, I think if she would have told you stop talking to me, you would have stopped.
Absolutely, I tried to stop.
Right.
You know what I mean? So.
Like, you know, I mean, but stuff was said here, like, you know, I'll be thinking about you all day and everything like that. Like, I think it was truly, you know, rather than a lust for each other, at least at first, it was more of like y'all truly enjoyed each other.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the conversation. Yeah, I thought she was a sweet girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would never have even imagined, you know what I mean, and going even closer this far. You know.
Right. So this was kind of like an anomaly that happened.
Yeah, it was. You know what I mean? It was. Definitely was not a plan. You know what I mean?
Right.
It just kind of and got it intensified. You know, through the like I said. You know, I tried to even tell her. I was like, you know, this
yeah,
it's not good. You know what I mean?
Like I know you guys would go like back and forth and everything, and you know, but I mean the messages themselves kind of escalated quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree.
From both of you guys, like not just you, but you know, because look, like there's a difference between what happened here with you, like, and her, where both of you guys are into it. Then there's a whole difference between somebody stalking a little girl, like, when are you coming out of your house, you know? And you know that wasn't any of that crap here.
Yeah,
so
I would never get like that.
Of course. Of course. So, you know, but stuff was said here. I mean, it seemed like both of you guys were. Is it fair to say that both of you guys had feelings for each other?
Yeah, I mean.
Like, were there a lot of I love yous exchanged?
From her, she said it a lot. I didn't want to, you know what I'm saying? I can't love somebody that I don't know.
Right.
But I didn't want to hurt her feelings, you know what I mean? I wanted to, you know, just meet her, hang out, and, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I wasn't planning for anything that would happen to me. I mean, it's easy to message somebody something.
Of course.
Like,
yeah. I mean, is it fair to say, like, you know, it was referred to, you guys referred to each other as, like, girlfriend, boyfriend? Like, was it fair to say it was just more of, like, a small crush?
Yeah.
Small crush?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Got you. Yeah, so a small crush that kind of escalated a little bit?
Yeah.
Got you.
Like I said, I didn't even want, you know what I mean? Like, it made me uncomfortable the whole time, you know what I mean? That's why you see in there a couple times, you see the message, I try to stop it. You know what I'm saying? I really was trying to end the whole thing, you know what I mean? But like you said, yeah, I had like a little crush, I guess, you know what I mean? So,
yeah. Like, I understand there was some ending going on, but along with her, y'all both came back to each other. Like, it wasn't just her coming back. I think it was you two. Like, you know, like I said, it takes two to tango. These messages definitely weren't one-sided here. Like, but, you know, obviously, And did y'all like talk on the phone much?
No, we video chatted a couple times, but like nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so the messages that escalate, you know, like stuff like, you know, tell me how wet that young is,
Yeah.
and
I understand. Yeah.
yeah,
That's,
and like I said, I mean, you know,
shit made me like it your foot. Like
Good.
I said, it would make me uncomfortable. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It would arouse me at first, and then I would start feeling like guilty, and like I didn't. It was
so it was like a back and forth with you.
yeah, definitely. It was like I was wrestling with it, you know.
I would want to wrestle you, but yeah, okay, so yeah, because you know, obviously, I'm sure, because you know, even based on the messages, it seems like you'd go hard, have some moments of just what the heck am I doing here, and then keep doing it. Right.
Absolutely. I didn't feel comfortable with myself doing it. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, it just, I don't know, like I said, it just kind of happened.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know this is more of a situation where, you know, we can get this resolved just by, you know, just making sure, I don't believe you're going to text her ever again, you know?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. But, you know, I think maybe there was just more of a little slip up here today rather than anything else. Like, you know, because I know, like you're on parole, probation, whatever, and I know you've been so straight with that stuff, like, you know, not slipping up, and you know, everybody always has to slip up. Like, you know, you can go 364 days without anything like any slip ups, any mistakes, and one day you make a mistake, and you know, I'd rather just have that corrected. But so here, I mean, were there like photos exchanged between you two?
Yeah, but nothing like serious, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, a couple, like, but it was, yeah, you know what I mean? It was, she had some pictures of her, you know what I'm saying? She didn't get naked or anything on there, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I know there wasn't any full body nudes, but was there just pictures of your sent?
Yeah, a couple, yeah.
Okay, including today?
I don't know if I did it today or yeah, I think so. I think maybe
Okay, got you. Yeah, and I mean, you know, and like I said, I mean, it's just super appreciated how much, like, you know, because you actually have a conscience, you know.
Yeah,
There's
absolutely.
people like Jeffrey Dahmer that, you know,
Yeah,
Maddie would be dead right now, you know, and you know, so I appreciate the fact that you have a conscience and everything like that, dude. But, you know, and I know it seemed like you got a little bit overprotective too of her at times.
Yeah, you know, because it's a cruel world, you know what I mean? That's what I told her. I was like, don't let anybody ever change who you are, you know what I'm saying? And, I mean, there's some really people out there, you know what
Right.
I mean? And I get it, you know?
Right. Like, you know, there was a time where the guy you are friends with that's bio says accept me or follow me if it's okay for me to you. Like, you caught a new follower of hers. Said, do you pay attention to what they say? Most of your friends are old dudes who try to lure young girls in. They're not going to be nice if they get a chance to be around you in person. So basically kind of protecting her from those type of people.
Yeah.
Awesome. And
like I said, even whenever I planned to come down here, you know what I mean? I really didn't feel comfortable doing it. You know
right.
What I mean? And I really wasn't gonna like press anything. You know what I'm
of
saying?
course.
Like, I could tell she was already like, you know what I mean?
Like about that stuff.
Yeah, she was like she didn't want to. I didn't want to make her uncomfortable. You
right.
know what I mean? And like even whenever I would say something, I'd be like, man, I don't need to be saying things like that too. You can see the messages in there. And she's like, no, keep going, and
so it kept going on your end, kind of, because she was just okay with it, or at least appeared to be.
Well, yeah, but she kept on like telling me though. You know what I'm saying? Like, please, like, you know what I'm saying? You can obviously see the messages in there. So,
okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So was the plan today just, if anything were to happen, just completely consensual, like just kind of touchy? Okay.
Yeah, and I didn't even plan for anything like that to happen. You know what I mean? I just, where are we gonna go? You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Like I know you weren't gonna, of course. Like I know I probably know the answer to this, but you weren't gonna like for anything.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, you know, it was mentioned that there were no today, but just you sent a photo in your car. And said, obviously something to the extent of suck on this.
I don't know if what I said, you know what I'm saying, but like, yeah, I did.
Something sexual about it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And she was totally okay with it. So it seemed like the plan was going to be only if she was okay with it, that's what would have happened.
But nah, I don't even know if I would have did it then. You know what I'm saying? Because she's already like you could tell that she wasn't sure about anything. You know what I mean? So I didn't want to. I wasn't going to just get in there and try to.
Right.
Try to force my way or push my way or even try to convince her to do anything.
So it's more of if she initiated it?
Possibly, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
But not even, you know what I mean?
Like I mean, Joseph, come on. I would
already feel uncomfortable.
Right,
you know what I mean?
So, I'm not saying there's, obviously nothing happens till it happens. It's more of that just more of a possibility if she initiated. Is that right?
Possible, maybe.
Okay, got you.
But I wasn't, like I said, I didn't come down here like I said, you could say a lot of things on messages, you know what I mean? But in person, it's a little bit different. Yeah,
and that's why I'm not saying it was 100%, just more of that possibility. Is that more accurate?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay, got you. Because, so what happens when a boy your age or just a little older comes along and you think he's cute and he's nice to you and likes you for you and doesn't make you do things you don't want to and your mom lets you talk to him? I think I know what will happen, unfortunately. I know you're not going to message back because you don't want to respond to that, so I guess just ignore me for a while. So there were some times where there was a little bit of frustration when she would kind of ignore you, if it seemed like that.
Yeah, and that's, you know what I'm saying, that's kind of why, you know what I mean, that I was really trying to stop talking to her, you know what I mean, because she's younger, she don't know you had to even be in a relationship or anything like that, you know what I mean? So I was kind of that's why I tried to stop talking to her a couple times, you know what I mean?
Right. And I know, but eventually, it kind of led to stuff like, you're ignoring me again, you're doing this. And I understand, especially being in prison, because, like I said, I've had cousins that have been there before, and it can definitely make you, in a way, emotionally volatile. Not necessarily, I'm not saying you're crazy or anything, I'm just saying, your emotions can go all over the place, as do mine. And
yeah, that's human nature.
Of course.
I mean? And you can't control, you know what I'm saying, how you feel or about anything. You know what I mean? That's just the way you feel.
Right.
Emotions are just part of you. You know what I mean? And so
Right. So what did you end up going to prison for?
I had a assault and a drug case.
Assault and drug case? What the heck happened with that?
My ex, her uncle or her aunt's boyfriend at the time, they were high and he grabbed her and he threw her across the room and I beat up on him and then he pressed charges.
Oh, what the
I mean,
so for protecting his own girlfriend or your?
No, my girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
It was his girlfriend's niece.
So
her aunt's boyfriend.
Since you have a tattoo, they send you to the Nuremberg trials for your case?
No.
I'm just kidding. You know what that is, right? Yeah. So how did you join the?
I don't know. I just, I don't like to see people that are weak. You know what I mean? I don't like to see people feeding on people that are weak. You know what I mean? And people get extorted and all that other in there, and that's not what I'm all about. You know
Protective.
What I mean? Yeah, I'm gonna tell. You know what I'm saying? Just don't let people treat you like that. You know what I mean? And you don't have to let people treat you like that. And if you stand up for yourself, I'll stand with you. You know what I mean? You should never let anybody treat you or make you do something that you don't want to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you're given a chance to make a decision. You know what I mean? And if somebody makes you go against that decision or forces you to go otherwise, you know what I mean? Then I believe that's wrong.
So you've always been about consent your whole life?
Yeah, my whole life. Yeah. I'm more of a guy that wants to see other people progress, not regress. I don't want to take anything away from anybody in any way.
Oh, you're progressive? Okay, so you're a Biden supporter?
No.
Oh, okay. I was going to with these messages.
No, absolutely not.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
But I want people to achieve greatness on their own. You know what I mean? If I talk to people, I help them try to get further in life.
Yeah.
And want them to be better people. You know what I mean? I don't know. I've always been like that.
And you even own your construction business now and everything?
Construction business.
Oh, good. Well, that's freaking badass. Do you guys what kind of projects do y'all do?
I do anything. Any kind of remodel or new construction or whatever. You know what I mean? I'll do it all. It doesn't make any difference. You know what I mean? I like doing jobs that nobody else wants to do because I like to see people's excitement on their face whenever I finish. It's not really about the money to me. You know
Uh-huh.
what I mean? It's really about seeing people progress. You know what I mean? Or seeing people happy about a situation or however things work. You know what I mean? Like whatever it is, I just like to see the joy in people.
Awesome, dude.
You know what I mean?
Awesome. I guess since you're like a Southern, you'll do reconstruction too?
I mean, I do a lot of woodwork, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do a lot of restoring stuff, and, you know, I don't know, I like to go to the antique carnivals. And,
Oh. So do you like just buy stuff and then kind of just...
if I see something that I can make and improve it, you know
Awesome.
what I mean, then I'll do that. Or if I see something that needs to be, you know, it needs to be restored or refurbished or anything,
Yeah.
I would definitely like take that up, like, and then I'll sell it to somebody that's going to take it to the antique carnival.
Oh,
Fair and stuff like that.
okay, cool. So like, when did you get out of the pen?
November.
Oh, good, dude. And you were in there for 3.5 years?
Yeah, right at 3 years. Yeah, a little over 3 years.
Where'd you go, Huntsville?
No, I was down. I went to Garza first, and then I was down there in Lopez, by Mexico, man.
Where the hell's Garza at?
Huh?
Where's Garza?
Garza is in Beeville.
Oh, okay. That's all the way down there.
Yeah.
Did it get hot like inside or?
Absolutely. It was horrible. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, got you. Yeah, man. So you're obviously somebody that, you know, has their life back together, or, you know.
I mean, I don't think anybody has their life
No,
together.
no, I don't. None of them do, but like,
yeah.
but
I mean, I tried my best. You know
relatively.
I mean? I
Yeah.
did my best that I think I can. You know what I mean? You can get better in any situation or anything that you do as long as you set your mind to it. But I'll never be perfect. You know, I'm in constant maintenance. You know, so.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's why, like, obviously, I'd rather just get this resolved with the talk here, and you know. But okay. So yeah, I mean, the messages at first, you know, were kind of just, you know, I'm not all about sexual stuff and this and that, and then, you know, it seemed like when I started to catch more feels, that's when it kind of.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, because, you know, like, I obviously know, like, you know, you got a little bit carried away here because it did turn into,
Yeah.
like, I know you don't message someone outright and say, oh baby, I love you, you're so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's just weird. But like, you know, as it progressed and she was kind of nudging you and stuff, it did seem like it did turn into more than just a crush, kind of just, I'm not saying head over heels, but like
It was.
feelings.
I don't know. It was more of just an imagine. You're like more of like a
Fantasy?
Yeah, it's more like kind of. You know what I mean? Like I said, it was weird for me the whole way down here. You know, you see, I'm late. You know,
Yeah.
because I really didn't want to come. You know what I mean? And I was on the fence about it. You know
Right.
What I mean? I'm like, you know. And
What made you like make this decision?
I don't know. I didn't want to hurt her feelings. Really. You know what I mean? I didn't want her to be, you know, upset because or get the feeling that she's unlikable or you know
Right.
what I mean? So.
Got you. So did a lot of what happened in the chats, was it kind of like clarity? Do you know what that is?
Yeah, I know clarity.
Like, kind of, you would fantasize her, kind of just to it, then just say, oh, what the am I doing?
That was kind of it. You know what I'm saying?
Did that happen a few times?
Well, yeah, I didn't never like finish or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it was.
More of just kind of rubbing it to her?
I guess so, yeah. But like, you know what I mean? It wasn't nothing like. Yeah, I didn't never get off to it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know. It's hard to explain, man, because I'm really not even sure about it myself.
Yeah, I was just kind of, was it more of just kind of, okay, this is kind of hot, I'm going to rub it, then I'm like, oh, wait, what am I doing?
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
Okay.
In a sense, yeah, but like I don't know, like, it was weird for me, you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know where it really just like stems from, you know, I don't know what was had me interested about it.
In Maddie?
Yeah, I don't even know, you know what I mean? Like, honestly, you know, I don't know, it was strange for me the whole time.
Was she just kind of just cute to you?
But yeah, you know what I mean? And like, I just wanted her to be, you know what I'm saying? Whenever I started talking to her, I wanted to see her happy, you know what I'm saying? Because she said she's been sheltered and, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. Really what I was going to ask her, I was going to see if she wanted to go watch a movie.
Uh-huh.
You know, I'm like, I don't know, what do you want to do? You know, I don't know. like I said, definitely wasn't gonna force anything.
Right, right. No, I know that. That doesn't even need to be said anymore. That's totally. But here it was like, I mean, these are pretty long messages. Like, as you are grinding your.
See, it makes me uncomfortable just you reading.
Oh, I know. And like I said, I know this conversation's uncomfortable, and and I appreciate you being so honest about everything, dude.
And I'm just, like I said, you know what I mean. It's strange for me. It made me feel uncomfortable with myself.
Right,
I mean?
right.
And now, you know what I'm saying. I see, you know what I'm saying. Like it wasn't. I shouldn't have been doing this the whole time.
Oh, yeah, and if I thought you would just say, "Oh, this, I didn't do," I wouldn't be here talking to you. You know what I mean? Like. I mean, stuff said like unhook your bra if you have one and gently brush my hands across, stuff like I want to eat your butt. And, as mentioned, this would be another time. So, like, I mean, a lot of these messages, majority of them were just like very intimate.
Yeah. I like at the beginning, whenever I was just chatting with her, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I would never expect anything to get intense or anything like that, you know what I mean? And like I said, messages are way different than whenever you're in face-to-face with somebody, and you know what I'm saying? Like, whenever I got down here and I seen her, I was like,
yeah, I was kind of, get that. Like, I would kiss your neck, across your, as you breathe heavy and moan and
you know what I wrote, man.
Yeah.
It makes, like I said, it makes me uncomfortable just thinking about it. You know what I mean? That's why I didn't want,
Yeah, I understand. It was definitely like something, but I do believe like, and again, I'm not saying 24/7. There was a craving for her or anything like that. But are you single right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Who's that? Heather in Conroe?
Well, yeah, I'm talking to Heather. Yeah. Definitely,
Okay.
Yeah, and that's another reason. You know what I'm saying? I kind of didn't want to come. You know what I mean? I felt them. Heather's a good chick. And I like being with her.
She's hot.
Thank you. And like, it's just I feel bad. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know. That's like I said. That's another reason that there might not have been nothing at all happened here today.
Right. Yeah. It's just a possibility for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely no. I was going to try to do anything, or if I wasn't going to try to do anything, it was just I'm going down here to meet her.
Right. Right. And but when there's stuff said even today, like it was mentioned on your end. There's a picture asked, can I see your boobs, little boobs today? Yeah. And then it was said, don't worry about it. Something to the extent of, don't worry about it. I'll just be able to.
Yeah, but
don't worry about it. I'll just be able to touch them today in person. Like,
like I said, you can say things. It's easier
right.
to say things whenever you're not with somebody, or in that person's presence. You know what I mean? So
right.
But whenever you're face to face with somebody, things are a little bit different.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I understand that, but I mean, but on the way here, when you're getting ready to go, and that's said, and when there's a picture taken of your out in the truck, was that in the truck, that picture today?
I already had that on my phone.
It was on your phone.
Yeah.
Okay. So when those pictures are sent, like, I'm on the way, I'm ready for you, and I know it's a possibility, but there was absolutely times during the course of this conversation where it seemed like you guys both wanted to do stuff with each other, like before y'all met, of course.
Maybe, yeah, but it wasn't like I was.
Nothing forced.
Yeah, no, not even really that. It's like I wasn't going to come down here and be all about that.
Right.
And that wasn't what it was all about for me coming down here in the first place.
Right.
You know what I mean? I just really wanted to meet her. You know what I mean? We've been talking this time, and you know what I mean? And I wanted her to feel like, you know what I'm saying? Honestly, I really just wanted to like kind of push her away. You know what I mean? But yes, of course I do have kind of feelings for her. You know what I mean? But
right.
But she's young. You know what I mean? And like she really should be with like a dude her age. You know, and
right.
She needs to go live life. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's why I think it was carried away.
Definitely.
That possibility. Like I know now you wouldn't do anything with her. I know that. Like I know now it wouldn't even be at this moment right now it wouldn't even be a possibility. I know you just wouldn't do anything. But I think on the way here it was mentioned it was a possibility. But on the way here, when that picture is sent, when you're like, don't worry about it, don't worry about the boo picture, I'm going to touch them today anyway. You know, like I said, you're not taking her in the car and forcing her to do anything.
No.
But I think, you know, if she was down to do all that, and, you know, like the sexual, like if she was, like I think, you know, that was obviously what you were kind of thinking on the way here, at least.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's easy to see things or say things, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? But that doesn't necessarily mean that whenever I got down here, you know what I mean, and that I would start feeling that uncomfortableness in myself, you know what I'm saying? That I might have just been like, no, we can't do this, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because
So there's a chance nothing would happen. There's a chance something would have happened actually initiated. It's pretty much.
I really couldn't tell you, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like I said, I think she's a cool girl. She's cute,
Yeah.
but like, she's innocent, you know.
Right.
What I mean? And then whenever she would tell me to say those things, like she'd be like, "Please keep going," and just say it. And you know what I mean? I tried. Are you sure? I don't like. You know what I mean? Are you sure? Like, I don't want to make you uncomfortable. Or she seemed like she was eager.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
I mean, that's why I said like the only possible thing that could have happened had she initiated. That's it. You know what I mean? But that's more accurate.
yeah.
Okay,
But like
gotcha.
I said, it could have been where I wouldn't even. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't
Right.
say no.
Right. Well, yeah, it's like an open door of anything.
Yeah.
Right. But you know, I would kiss. Have any like, I guess before Maddie, have there already been like young ladies under 18 that tried to message you before?
No.
They haven't like ever tried to mess. Like I'm not saying like it. I know Maddie's the farthest ever went, but like, have any like hit you up on Instagram before?
No, I just not really started messing with Instagram. I get on Facebook more than anything.
Oh,
You know what
okay.
I mean? Yeah, I just really started fucking around with Instagram. Whenever I post something on Facebook, it automatically goes to my Instagram. It's tied into it. So you know what I mean? Like anything that's on my Instagram is I put on Facebook.
Right.
Even my stories.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So it automatically goes to Instagram.
So did Maddie text you on did Maddie text you on Telegram too?
No.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Do you have Telegram?
Yeah, I just recently got it.
Got you. How'd you find out about Telegram?
This girl told me about it. Like this, she's like, "Do you have Tel?" And I was like, "Tel? I don't even know what you know what I mean." I'm like, so
How long ago was that?
week.
A
Maybe?
week ago.
Yeah, a couple days. Yeah.
Got you. So did that girl like talk to you on Telegram?
I talked to her a little bit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is she like over, under? How old is she?
I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like I talked to her. I think she said her name was Star. I don't even know if that's a real profile.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I really couldn't tell you.
Is she young looking?
No, she looks like she's about 18, 19, maybe 20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got you. And on what else has happened on Telegram? Like any groups you've been in or anything like that?
I was in a group, but like those people were kind of strange. You know what I'm saying? So I got out of it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't. Yeah, there was some weird shit going on.
I bet. Yeah, I have a friend that has Telegram, and he tells me like I'm in this group. They send me some very weird stuff, and I'm sure like, and that's what I'm saying. There's some weird people online.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like on Telegram. Are you still in that group, or did you leave it?
No, I left it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the first couple messages wasn't so bad, you know what I mean? But then they started talking about some crazy, you know what I mean? And I wasn't down for all that.
Was it one of the groups with the Russian letters?
I don't think so.
Oh, just a regular group.
Yeah, I don't even remember how I got on the group. You know what I mean? It was what do you call it? Like it was on somebody's profile.
Yeah.
And then it had a link to it, and I pressed it. You know what I'm saying? I was like, it took me to Telegram. And then they added me to this group, and then I was talking for a little bit, and I was like, whoa, you know what I mean?
Did they like send stuff that's probably like illegal?
Some of them did, yeah.
Yeah, like you know what I'm getting at when I say illegal, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna throw this out there, and I'm not saying obviously you're just kind of in this group here, but they send like kind of child in there.
Well, some of the stuff they put on there, they were probably underage, you know what I'm saying? But then some of the girls were of age, but they were weird. You know what I mean? Like what they were doing, it was kind of, their fetishes are strange.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, there's no weird fetishes like mentioned in here or anything.
No,
like, yeah.
It's just, there was some weird stuff going on in there. So I was like, I got to get out of this.
So would they like send nudes of both over and under 18-year-olds?
I don't know how old they were. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely tell you, girls. There was a couple girls that were probably a couple years under 18. You know what I mean? That's really whenever I was like, you know. And I seen, and then when this, what really made me get out of it, this dude sent a picture or a video of this girl taking. Like I was like, oh, you know, you gotta get out, yeah. And I wasn't even long into it. You know what I mean? It was strange.
What the hell? Damn. So they would send pictures of like adults taking.
I don't. It doesn't have their. It didn't have the girl's face. I just know it was a girl.
Oh, how do you even take a video of taking?
I have no idea. It was strange.
Yeah. I'm sure you got the out of there.
Yeah, I did. That was crazy to me. Like, I understand that people are into that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But like, that was strange for me. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to be any part of that.
Is that what made you leave the group?
Yeah. There was already some stuff that I didn't agree with being said. You know what I mean? But you know, I can't judge anybody. You know what I mean? I feel, you know, I try to be a godly man. You know what I mean? I read the word a lot, especially when I was locked up. You know what I mean?
Right.
I go to church whenever I can, but I work a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was just some bad stuff going on.
So, I mean, because, you know, obviously, I'm just going to tell you my goal here. My goal is to just make sure that stuff like this just doesn't happen, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously you can help with that, you know? You can be part of the solution rather than the issue because, you know, there's people that try to meet 9-year-olds off the internet. And I know you wouldn't never do that, but, like, you know, so I'm very curious about Telegram. Like, I'm very curious because, you know, obviously people on Telegram, bad news, I'm sure, as you both know.
Yeah, I thought it was just like a messenger. That's really what I thought it was, like a messenger for Instagram.
Sure.
But it's not like that. You know what I mean? It's some strange people.
Yeah. Like, the images sent in the Telegram group, like, what made you think they were under 18? Like, were they just flat-chested, or?
It doesn't even really show that, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't really, like, faces or anything like that.
Sure.
And a lot of the stuff was distorted. You couldn't really tell. You know what I mean? And it was, like, a distance away, and I don't know, there wasn't a whole lot of photos.
Right.
I'm saying it was mostly just people talking. You know what I mean? And they had little weird stickers. They were calling them stickers or something.
Oh, yeah.
And they would post that, like, if they liked it or whatever like that. And it's, like I said, it was kind of weird.
Did they, like, talk about kids in that chat?
They didn't really say anything like straight like that. You know what I mean? It was just, but you could see that maybe some of them were talking about that. You know
Like, do they use stuff like pizza emojis?
Yes, they do. I had no idea what the hell that was.
You know what it is now?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Okay, so
I don't even see how that's even relevant. You know what I mean? Like,
well, like, yeah, like on Telegram, because, like, you know, I want to get people that come here to mutilate kids. You know what I mean? And so, you know, I'd rather just get some help with this here, finding those type of people on Telegram. So would they, like, ask, like, in that group chat, like, you know, does anybody have pizza pictures or stuff like that?
Yeah, but I didn't even. Yeah, they did, but I didn't even realize what that was at first. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
And then I don't know. I guess they would mostly message each other separate.
Sure.
But I feel like I was like pizza. You know what I mean? I didn't really get it at first, and then it clicked, and I was like, oh, you know what I mean? That's what they're talking about.
I see. So, you know, those distorted images in the chat, did they look like they could have been those? And again, like, I know you didn't, you know, save any or you didn't partake in that, but, like, did they look like pizza photos?
I mean, possibly a couple of them could have.
Yeah.
But, but like, I don't know. You couldn't really tell. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I shouldn't mean to look too hard.
Yeah. It was like I said, it was strange.
You're right.
I mean, those people were talking about some crazy, you know, and saying some weird, and it's just, it wasn't cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm getting out of here.
Were there any other groups on Telegram that you found yourself in?
No, just that one.
Just that one?
Yeah.
Got you. So do you remember any of their names on that Telegram group?
No, most of them have like names that, like, I don't know. They're definitely not their real names. I don't remember like any of their names. There's a lot of people. You know what I mean? There was a lot of people that would just pop up on there, and they're just out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, I was messing around in that group for, I don't know, just not very long, but like there was so many different people. You know what I'm saying?
How many people were in the group, you think?
I don't know, at least 100 probably. Yeah, it was. They were just popping up. You know what I mean? And it was just different names, different names, different names. And
Did any of the people like have a pizza emoji in their name?
yeah, maybe, possibly. Yeah. I don't know if there was. It wasn't an emoji. It was more like a picture.
Oh, like a picture of pizza?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there was any emojis.
Yeah, but
Might
like
have been, I don't know.
basically pizza symbolism in that
Yeah,
chat.
'cause I didn't even, you know, comprehend what it was at first.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't really even paying attention.
Of course.
Some of the that they were saying, you know what I mean, it was, I don't know.
Kind of raised the red flag.
Yeah, and then, you know what I mean, it's, some that they were posting was like, that's not for me. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Yeah.
Did any like try to DM you?
No.
No.
Nobody tried to DM me off of it. You know what I mean?
I see. So nobody like sent you like a message request on there or anything?
On Telegram?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
That's why I really deleted all those people off of my followers today, or who I was following today. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? I'm not cool with it. You know what I mean? But like you said, there's some people out there.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like you said, that want to people and like just kidnap and like that, and that's not cool.
Of course.
You know, it's really scary to know that this is becoming more abundant in our world. You know what I mean? And, I don't know. Like I said, I'm definitely not a Biden supporter.
No, yeah, no, I was kidding about that.
Yeah, I know, but like, I don't know. It's liberals are giving way too much now. You know what I mean? And,
Oh, I agree.
it's just a bad.
Absolutely, and that's why, like, you know, that's why I think, like, how long have you been talking to Heather for?
About a month.
About a month.
Yeah.
Have you met her before? Did you go to Conroe for her?
Yeah, I stayed with her. I went up there and stayed with her a couple times. You know
Oh,
what I'm saying?
okay.
I really like her.
Right.
Yeah. That's
So-
why this is another thing that I felt bad about. You know what I mean? Because I really like Heather. You know what I mean? And
Of course.
That's another reason, like why I said that nothing could have even happened. You know what I mean? And,
Well, I mean, earlier, it was, like, you know, there was that possibility open. I mean, you came here today, but like,
that doesn't mean that. I mean, yeah.
no, it doesn't mean, you know, nothing's definite till it happens. It's just there was that chance here today, and you know, that's what I want to make sure that doesn't, you know, because, you know, I think you do need to be. I think you know, you can deal with Heather however you want. You know, after this, if you want to tell her, not tell her, I don't care. But you know, when here it said, "Baby, I want to your sexy little body." Yes, baby. I want to bend you all over and lick.
Yeah.
Where do you want it? On your stomach, your sexy little stomach. I mean, you know, and like I said, obviously you're dating someone over 18. Like, you know, I'm not saying you have a thing for people Maddie's age. I'm just saying you had a thing for Maddie. It's not because of her age, just for Maddie.
Yeah, she's a cool girl. You know
Right.
what I mean? And like I said, I don't want to see her be tainted by this ass world. You know what I mean? Like what made her appealing to me is she wasn't like trying to find attention, and she didn't need, you know what I mean? Like, you see, most of these people in this world need attention from other people, and
Sure.
they crave it. You know what I mean? She was down to earth. You know what I mean? And she was just cool.
Right.
That's what, I really just enjoyed talking to her.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then things just escalated.
And that's why I don't think her age was a factor. Like, I don't think you saw, 13 years old, great. I think it was just, this is a cool girl I'm talking to.
Yeah, she was cool.
Right. And cool, cute. Was she basically just, was it fair to say she was cool, cute, and attractive to you?
Yeah, it wasn't even like that at first, though. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? She was just cool, you know what I mean? And then I guess somewhere along the way, you know what I'm saying, it was an attraction there.
Right. What was attractive about her?
I don't know. I really, her smile was cute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like she has big, pretty eyes. You know what I mean? And that's, I don't know. I have a thing for eyes.
Got you.
Like girls with pretty eyes.
Of course. I'm sure it's a no, but did you have in prison at all?
No.
Okay.
I'm not gay. But like, we're completely against that. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, Joseph, you're wearing pink and you got the earrings. I don't know, man. You sure about that?
I mean, I'm a pretty
No.
guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, it's like I don't know, man. It was strange for me. This whole experience
Right.
was strange for me in the first place. You know what I mean? And like, that's why I kind of got drunk last night, because I was trying to come. You know what I mean? Just, I didn't want to make her uncomfortable. You know, it was really my main thing. I didn't want to make make her feel like, you know what I'm saying, like just uncomfortable in any way. You know what I mean? And I don't know. It's been strange for me. I've been battling this. You know what I'm saying? Like
This attraction to her.
yeah, and not even like kind of pushing her away. You know what I mean? Like because
Well, you know, that, I mean, when you say stuff like, you want to be daddy's little,
yeah, I know, but like
is that pushing her away?
no, but
Okay.
I'm talking about well, it progressed. You know what I mean? Like whenever I would
Right.
tell her, you know what I'm saying? Like there's plenty of messages in there you can obviously tell. Like you know what I'm saying? You shouldn't be doing this, or like this. You know what I'm saying? It's not cool, or you know, it's.
Well, you know,
But I agree. Yeah, I mean,
it mostly wasn't about pushing her away. And the messages.
well, yeah, but like whenever I would try, she would just, you know what I'm saying?
Right, it
like,
takes two to tango.
Yeah, she would just be like, no, baby, no, and you know what I mean? Like I said, I didn't want to hurt her feelings. I didn't want to like, you know, crush her.
Right, but, you know, again, it wasn't all her, it wasn't all you. It was absolutely 50-50, from my opinion. But, you know, when stuff is said here, tell me some naughty that you want to happen the most and be a bad girl when you tell me my naughty little girl. Is that pushing her away?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's not.
Is your cousin around you, or are you touching that little again? Is that pushing her away?
No, it's not.
Okay. I think
I get it, man.
I think all of these messages indicate more of, instead of pushing her away, having her come closer.
I mean,
The messages indicate that, I think.
at some parts, maybe, yeah, but like it was, I don't know, like yesterday.
Uh-huh.
Like during the day, I didn't even like. I was trying not to message her.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I was being short. You know what I mean? And like I didn't want it. I don't know. I was uncomfortable, really. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, like I said, I was on the fence. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Is this more of kind of when you got in the mood?
No, absolutely not. It wasn't even like that. You know what I mean?
No, like when the messages would get like this.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. You know what I mean? It's I don't know. I can't pinpoint it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It would just happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like yesterday, you know, I was really, really trying to like push her away to the point where that it did. You know what I'm saying? That we would not be talking anymore. You know what I mean? And then, but like I said, I have some feelings for her. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to hurt her. You know what I mean? I don't want to make her feel like she was unwanted. You know
Right.
I mean? So,
I mean, it also got to the point, like, where it was pointed out, that new person that followed her saying, I want to see people. I mean, you know, I'm not saying there was jealousy, but it was definitely an issue when a new person followed her.
yeah, because of the kind of people that were following her.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like after I figured out what these people are all about, you know what I mean? This one dude, like whenever I would look at her followers, this dude says, what did it say? Send me a request or follow my request if I can.
Right.
And I was like, whoa, man, like you got to be careful of those people.
Right, right.
People yeah, some of those people are out of there. You know
Of
what
course.
I mean? Yeah, and I would hate to see something bad happen to her. You know what I mean? That would be horrible. You know?
Right. But, you know, like I said, you know, because that's the type of guy to kidnap and do horrible to. But, you know, when stuff said out here, can I my little princess's young little girl? I mean,
I know, man.
did you bring condoms today?
I wasn't gonna have.
Okay. So if any plans were, it would have just been touching and no.
Maybe, I don't think there would have been anything past like maybe a kiss or something. You know what I mean? Honestly.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I talk a good game, man, but it made me nervous. You know what I mean?
Right.
It made me uncomfortable with myself. You know what I mean? Like I could say a lot. You know what I mean? But like that doesn't mean that whenever I got here I wouldn't have backed out right away.
No,
You know
of
what I
course,
mean?
and I
You know what
like.
I'm saying? Because-
Yeah, I know it was more possibility, but again, this girl is attractive to you. You're attractive to her. It was a mutual attraction, and this is somebody that would talk very sexually to you, and you would talk very sexually back. And you know, from what it seems like here, there was, you know, like I get there's stuff said like, "Oh, you're a young girl," whatever. But you know, not a lot of it was about her age or any of that. It was really like, and look, I understand. Like, I don't think if you ever went to prison, you'd ever be in this situation. Like, I'm not saying prison made you, you know, some Instagram fiend. I'm saying, you know, when you're 3.5 years,
Yeah.
I think I think that was more of what this is. Why you're talking to her and Heather at once.
Yeah, because I'm not a cheater. You know what I'm saying? My baby mama was the mother of my son. Cheated on me all the time. You know what I mean? And after that, you know what I'm saying? I was loyal to one girl.
Were you and Heather official?
We're getting there, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Okay.
And I really want to be with her. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know. She's a good girl. You know what I'm saying? She cares about me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I care about her. So, you know what I mean? I really don't know what the hell I was doing. You know,
right, and you know, and I think the reason, you know, I could be wrong here, but I think a huge possibility is that you're just fresh out of prison, and you know, you haven't, all you've seen was for 3.5 years, and I think like you're finally splurging on the other gender. Oh, I'm sorry, one of the other 52 genders nowadays. A lot changed when you were locked up, by the way.
I know, man.
Yeah.
Me, I know. Everything's it's great.
Yeah. One of the other 52 genders, you know, that happens to be the female one, that you're splurging on, and like I said, I think, you know, you find her attractive, you find Heather attractive. I just think you just need a woman, or I just think you were just seeking the opposite gender here.
Yeah, I enjoy a woman's company more than guys anyway, because
a lot of
my friends are old friends, like, you know what I'm saying, they're not good people either.
Right.
You know what I mean? And all they want to do is get up and take girls out and get them high, and I'm like, I'm really not about that. I guess whenever I was younger, I was, you know what I'm saying, when it was in my 20s and like that, I would go out and party and do chicks, but like now I don't like that. You know I want a good girl that, you know what I'm saying, like Heather. You know what I'm saying? She's cool, she's relaxed, she's all about me, she don't want anybody else, you know what I mean? And really, I mean, I feel that strong attraction to her too, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't really know where the hell this came from, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It just started happening.
No, I don't know, you got your, like you mentioned, you use what now, and that's it?
Yeah, that's all and I don't even really do that a lot, you know what I mean?
Right.
I have some, but like it's nothing like massive quantities or nothing like that.
Yeah. No, you don't do it yourself even.
No.
Right.
Absolutely not.
Right. I mean,
I don't see nothing wrong with weed, actually.
I don't either. I think it needs to be legal. That's one thing I don't agree with Republicans on.
Yeah, definitely. That's why it's so hard to get weed legalized here in Texas, because it's a Republican state.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care about enough to vote for Beto O'Rourke, but I mean...
No.
But, okay. So, were there videos sent of you doing this? Because you have here mentioned, you have seen me completely, babe, stroking my for you because I love you, and I know you'll appreciate you keep it only for us.
Like videos I had already had on my phone, you know what I mean? But it was one was through my boxes, you know what I mean? And like, yeah, it was.
Was another one in the truck? I think with the blue lights going.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah.
So I think the box was one you might have had on your phone.
Yeah.
Okay, but the blue truck one, that was live.
It might. I don't know. I have a lot of pics on my phone.
Yeah. But the blue truck one was sent, or in the truck that was sent as like a live video.
I don't know. I did some one live video, but it wasn't me. Nothing like that. You know what I mean? It was.
Well, I don't think you showed your. I think you were just doing it.
What do you mean, like?
Like you were like, oh baby, like you were. I think you were doing it, but I don't think you were showing your.
Oh, in the blue truck one?
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. I mean, my truck has blue lights in it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
A lot,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was in my truck, or you know what I mean? I'm always in my truck.
Right. No, I know.
I work a lot. You know what I mean? And I usually don't take off until it's almost dark.
Right.
So.
Okay. So, I mean, does it ring a bell then that you may have sent a video of you stroking it, but not showing your, but just in your truck stroking it, like showing like this?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
So that was a live video then?
Yeah, but
okay.
But I didn't never see no live video of like me like stroking myself to it. You know what I'm saying? They were in my phone. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I'm saying you didn't send a video. Like you weren't showing yourself stroking in the video, but you were stroking as you were showing your. Like,
no. You talking about like no, I wasn't. I don't get down like that. You know, I don't get off like that. You know what I'm saying? Just me talking to her, seeing her face, telling her what I'm gonna do. I wasn't stroking myself. I might have been rubbing myself, but I wasn't.
Okay, so just basically Not stroking, but like playing with it, playing with her.
Yeah,
Okay,
maybe
okay.
touching it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? When I was telling her. Yeah.
Okay,
Like, yeah.
got you. And then the one you stroked through your underwear, that was not live.
No.
You had that on your phone already.
No.
Okay. And then the picture today, that was already on your phone?
It was already on my phone.
And that was just your full...
Yeah, it was just from the side. Yeah.
Okay. And then there was another one sent of, I think, a selfie in the mirror where you could kind of see like your
You can definitely tell that's an old one.
Yeah, no,
tattoos,
obviously, yeah. God, that's so old. It could have been child.
Yeah, I was in my 20s, I think.
Yeah.
Early, right? Yeah.
But okay. So I mean, look, obviously there is a very mutual attraction between the both of you. Okay. I mean, do we agree on that?
Yeah, I had some feelings for her. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't straight physical though. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I want to see her, you know, progress in life. You know, like I said, she's been sheltered. You know what I mean? So that was another thing that had me feeling
Right.
like, you know what I'm saying?
No, like I know it wasn't 100% lust, but I think it was a combination of emotional and physical. She was just attractive, like how I am with my girlfriend, how you are with Heather. Yeah. It's just emotional and physical. Yeah. It's a combination.
Yeah, it's part of the human build.
Yeah, you know human nature.
Yeah, it's we have attraction to the opposite sex. But nowadays, I mean, a lot of people.
What do you mean by opposite?
Like I'm male, she's female.
Oh yeah, you're just a bigot, dude.
Huh?
You're just a bigot. You're coming off like a racist here.
No.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I know.
No, I'm not racist.
But
I have cousins that are half black.
Oh yeah.
And being wood isn't about racism. You know what I mean?
No, I know.
It's
I was just kidding because there's so many genders.
Well, that is, yeah, like you said, 52. You know what I mean? People are. I don't know why everybody thinks it's okay. You know what I mean? And what's another thing that bothers me about that is this country was built on God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now they don't even allow God in schools or anything. You know, I talk to God all the time. You know what I mean? And this world, man, it's a bad place now, especially in America. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know, it's just crumbling fast.
Yeah. It absolutely is, man. It absolutely is. And I think the internet's a big part of that.
Definitely. Social media it's really just media in general. You know what I mean? Like people and music. You know, it's like this new rap music that everybody listens to. All it's talking about is being a gangster, selling dope, and degrading women.
Right.
You know what I mean? And girls are starting to think that's okay. You know what I mean? And
right. And that's what I kind of appreciate about these chats here, even if they're not necessarily like, you know, the best. Like there was no degrading going on or anything like that.
Never. Like I would tell her, don't let anybody change who you are. You know, always be yourself. You know what I mean? This is a good place. You know, just make sure that you always stay who you are. You know,
right?
Be an individual.
Right. And you know, like I said, like that's why, you know, I don't think the first day there was talking between you guys, I don't think there was any plans of anything, and then
no, the first couple of days, like.
Right, and that's why I think like both of you guys got so carried away to the point where, you know, something could have happened. Like here, it's like, you know, those eyes. You mentioned you were attracted to those eyes. Can you aim the camera down some more so I can see your pretty little in that shirt?
That's today though. You know
right.
What I'm saying? Like it did progress. Yeah.
I know you don't have a bra on and you kissy face. She said those eyes. What about them? And you said I'm going to be playing with them today anyway.
What about them? Her eyes.
Yeah.
Eyes. Yeah. What about them? And then I'm messaging right here. Did you get that one? I said they're big and beautiful. And
right.
They're luminous or something like that. I don't remember what I told her. She has beautiful eyes.
Right. No. Like you really liked her for her personality and just her beauty and all that. But
just for her, it wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it wasn't a physical attraction at all at first. You know what I mean? I didn't
and it kind of progressed to that.
Yeah, it did. You know
right.
I mean? Like, whenever I seen like the dudes that were like with the comments on her, I seen what kind of dudes they were. You know what I mean? And like, I felt like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she should be told that those were people. And then, you know what I mean? That's another thing that made me kind of everybody that was like, man, those dudes are man, am I? You know what I mean? But I don't
think so. I think this is more of because, you know, Maddie would be either kidnapped or she'd be, you know, and that's why, I mean, yes, it was mentioned here, I'm going to be playing with them today anyway. Like, look, I mean, obviously there is, I mean, you know, I know it's kind of being held back on your end from, that stuff. And that's what I appreciate because, it's not, it's not a proud thing to say like, something was or could have happened today, but, and that's what I appreciate. I appreciate that because, it'd be cool like, if somebody was, you've been mostly honest, somebody was completely honest, like, I was going to take a knife, cut her up, drink her blood. It's happened before, believe me. And they love it, dude. They love it. They're like, on one hand, I'm like, oh, thank you for your honesty. Then on the other hand, I'm like, you just love doing this, don't you, you motherfucker? I want to.
Yeah, I despise people like that. That's,
right.
That's
oh.
World, man.
Oh, that's like elite right there. And
it's becoming more and more. You know what I mean? There's some really sick and twisted people, but those people, there's something that made them like that. You know what I mean? So, man, whenever I talk to God, I ask Him to help me with struggling to judge people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of people have judged me for my addiction and my, you know what I'm saying, just the way I grew up. You know what I mean? Because after my brother, you know what I'm saying, that me up.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I was a straight A student. I played all sports. I was in GT classes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me too.
I had a great future ahead of me, and then my whole life changed. You know what I mean? It's like that's what made me start doing. It was numbing me. I didn't have to feel. I didn't have to think. You know what I mean? And that's why I started using drugs. You know what I mean? So
right, and I think there's a lot of factors that maybe. I mean, were you ever like self-conscious after your brother died about being judged or stuff like that?
Definitely, yeah. And then it was, and even whenever I would like get clean off of drugs and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? I felt people would still like criticize me or judge me because, you know what I mean? But what they don't understand is, you know what I'm saying, that the only thing I was trying to do was not feel. You know what I mean? Because I'm still haunted by it.
Sure. Well, do you think part of the reason that there was such a big attraction to Maddie is because, I mean, she's not a kid. She's not like, I need help using the bathroom. But maybe that she doesn't judge you. She didn't judge you. She's 13, pure. Like, not, I'm not talking about sexual, but just like, she's 13. She's just nice.
Yeah, she didn't. Yeah, that was really cool. You know what I'm saying? That I guess I didn't even really notice that until you just said it. You know what I mean?
Subconsciously, you think that's what pulled you to her in a way?
Possibly, yeah. She didn't, no matter what I said or anything, she didn't point any fingers at me or beat it into me. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
You just, that's a pretty good assumption that that could possibly hit.
What can I say? Is that what kind of built that emotion? So you think that's what kind of built that
possibly, yeah.
that connection there?
Possibly, yeah.
Okay. So, look, I have a very good emotional connection with my girlfriend. I'm sure you do with Heather.
I do, yeah.
Right. And, of course that led to a physical attraction. I'll say with my girlfriend, I thought she was hot and I DM'd her, and then that came later.
That's usually how you don't, you know what I'm saying? If you don't have any kind of attraction to somebody, you don't start dating them.
Of course,
you know
of course.
Like,
or you don't even reach out to them.
Yeah, or if you haven't hung out with them a couple times, because I've hung around with girls before, you know what I mean, that I didn't even like them at first.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then later on, you know what I'm saying, like we would hang out and then, hey, we were kind of feeling each other, you know what I mean? Maybe it was just the people we were around, or maybe it was because you thought a certain way of me, or, you know what I mean?
Right. And, like that's, like going back to these, I know this is the uncomfortable part, and like I said, I don't blame you for kind of shielding from this part because it's not the most flattering thing to talk about, okay? Like, I get the attraction part, whatever. But, when stuff is said like, going to be playing with them today anyway as referencing, like, okay, I'm practical. I'm not saying, there's no way y'all are having sex today. It was even mentioned yourself. I get that. But, getting a feel for each other, literally or figuratively, mentioned, me in the car. Look, and again, this doesn't even need to be said here, I'm just going to say it. You weren't going to force yourself, but there was obviously a very big attraction between you and Maddie. And when there's an attraction between two people and there's sexual things talked about, me and my girlfriend, you and Heather, anybody ever, there's always going to be, if two parties are okay with it, unless you're a dommer. And that's why I think, besides just the possibility of, a second having, I think it was, I think both of you guys were planning on that. You were okay with it. She was okay with it. And, like I said, it wouldn't have been. And I think that was just the plan today. Besides going to see a movie and doing that stuff.
Yeah, I can't agree with you 100%. Am I saying it's completely ruled out? No, I can't say that. But I didn't come up here for that. You know what I mean? It wasn't the reason I was really coming up here. You know what I mean? We've been talking about her coming up here before we started talking like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? She's like, well, whenever my cousin comes, maybe we can meet at the mall or something. Okay, cool. You know what I mean? And it's progressed since then.
So, was the plan to take her to see a movie here in the mall?
Well, I was right here. That's why I wanted to come over here by the movie place. That's why I'm parked out at. There's a movie place right over here. So, I didn't really even want to leave the mall with her. You know what I mean? Like, I would rather her, you know what I'm saying, like, be here because her cousin was here. You know what I mean? I didn't want her to get going with me and then feel uncomfortable, like, you know what I'm saying? So my plan was really just to stay around here. You know what I'm saying? That's why I can't say 100% that something would happen.
Right. So we're just going to stick to the possibility then, and then.
I guess yeah, it was definitely a possibility. But
right.
It wasn't the
sole
purpose.
Right. No. And I know it wasn't the sole purpose, regardless. But it was.
I can't say that something would have happened and something wouldn't have.
Right. Right. So it was okay. So you were coming here to see a movie, and with that door being open to the other stuff. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I didn't even know. I mean, that's what I really was thinking about doing, was seeing a movie, but I haven't even got to know her yet. You know?
Right.
So I didn't see her. I didn't know how she was going to act around me, and I didn't know how I was going to act around her. You know?
Right. That's what I want to go back to. Only if you guys were both comfortable. That's.
Yeah. Okay. Definitely. Yeah. But it was. You know what I mean? It was. I don't know. It's.
Right. Because
the way I seen me coming up here, you know what I'm saying, was just to hang out with a girl that I thought was cool at the very beginning.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And then if you are both comfortable and, because you mentioned there would be no today, right?
Yeah, but
and
we might not have ever talked again after this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because if I would have seen that she was feeling nervous or anything like that, then I would have said, well, maybe we should just stop. You know what I mean?
And that's why, and like I said, like whether it would happen today or in the future, if she's comfortable, that's why I think only.
Yeah, I'm not talking to her no more.
No.
I already didn't feel comfortable with myself doing it in the first place.
Right,
you know?
right. It was an uncomfortable, of course, because it's a scenario that isn't necessarily it's kind of frowned upon by people, and that's why I do think like seems like she had an understanding for you, you had an understanding of her. That's why I only think like would happen in the future. I don't know. Only if you guys are completely in sync.
Yeah. Absolutely, and I don't see it happening. It wouldn't happen anytime soon. You know what I mean? Like the only reason that she would even come up here is because her cousin is in town. That's what she said. You know what I'm saying? Most of the time she's with her mom, and that's good. That's good for her. You know what I mean? It keeps her out of the way of things. You know what I mean? She's not exposed to how cruel the world is.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And I think that's good. You know what I'm saying? That she does have a mom. She told me at the very beginning that her mom was like her best friend. And then I admire that because I admire mom. You know what I mean? My mom's a breast cancer survivor. 3 sons, not just my brother. She had premature twins that died too. So yeah, and so like I said, she's a breast cancer survivor. She's seen me be on drugs and strung out and like get better and get sick, get better, get sick. You know what I mean? For numerous years. My grandpa in my granny's house, just 2 blocks from where we live. I mean, my mom's a very strong person. You know what I mean? And I admire her more than anybody.
Right, and. Yeah, absolutely, man. And I know, and that's why, these things didn't escalate super quick. There was kind of, because you didn't want to jump the sheltered girl into just a whole other reality.
Yeah,
so
that's what, and then it kind of was progressing to that. That's what really made me kind of, it's like I really need to stop talking to her. You know what I mean? But then again, there was an attraction, and you know what I mean?
Right.
I guess what you said about her not judging me was probably a big deal with it. I didn't even realize, you know what I'm saying, that was really what.
Right, and that emotional attraction, it always leads to, because when you do sexual things together, I'm not talking about a random hookup. This wasn't a random hookup, but when you do sexual things together, or I'm sorry, when you have that emotional attraction, it always leads to sexual things.
Not always, but for the vast majority of times, yeah, it does. You know what I mean? I have a strong attraction for my homegirl Brittany. We've been friends for a long time. You know what I mean? She has attraction for me, and we've never done anything other than kiss.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Have you guys sent? Have you sent a pic to her before?
To Brittany?
Yeah.
I mean, we've been around each other like in pools or partying. You know, it's like this is new to me. This wasn't around whenever before I got locked up. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a popular thing. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like, I get there's an attraction with Brittany too, but you know, there's not messages to Brittany saying I want from behind.
But like we've talked to each other like that. You know what I'm saying? Like to Brittany, I've told her things like that, but not like it didn't get anything beyond. You know what I mean? Like us having emotional feelings for each other.
Right.
We both had them.
Right.
Definitely, but we knew that if something would have happened, then we might not be friends later on.
Right.
You know what I mean? So.
Right.
Yeah, it was. Brittany's been through a lot too. You know what I'm saying? And she doesn't judge me. And you know what I mean?
So today, you know, we talk about the open door. So had Maddie just been comfortable with everything and you've been comfortable with anything, that's when, you know, more stuff would have happened some other time if y'all are both in sync with it?
Maybe, yeah. I mean,
okay.
I can't even say yeah because, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm uncomfortable about the whole situation in the first place. You
right.
know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I like talking to her and then I couldn't even think about it had progressed to what it was, what it is, or what it had.
Right, and that's why I think, and that's why, you know, this is just I guess a scared straight thing for you, and that's why. But like, you know, as you were on the way here, kind of getting carried away, you know, like she did too. That's, you know, I know you weren't thinking about having today, but as you were coming here, you know, were you just thinking, okay, if we're both comfortable and this works out, we'll do it some other time, if she's cool with it?
I mean, it crossed my mind, you know what I mean? But really what I was really just trying to feel her out.
Right.
I mean, I didn't want to make her feel like comfortable, uncomfortable, or anything in any way. That's why I was really, whenever I told her, whenever we walked out, I was going to see if she wanted to go watch a movie.
Right.
You know what I mean? I just didn't want to be around a whole bunch of people because, it's like you said, it's beyond frowned upon. You know
yeah. So is it fair to say, like, you know, it was to feel her out, and only if you guys are 100% in sync and comfortable, that's when, like, sexy stuff would have happened?
It could have, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like, I don't know, man. It's
like, what sexy stuff, you know, we're just talking about the possibility, what sexy stuff could have happened today? Like, was the plan to take her to your place and...
No.
Okay.
No. I don't even live close to here.
Right,
you know
Columbus?
I mean? Yeah.
So it would have just been...
I didn't even plan to leave the mall. You know
okay.
what I mean? Like, that's why I said a movie, because I didn't... Her cousin, you know, I even told her that. Your cousin's going to be looking for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, we're not going to have a lot of time.
Right.
I clearly said that. Like, I knew that it was going to be short.
Right.
To hang out just for a little bit. You know
okay.
what I mean?
So is it fair to say the farthest possibility it could have gone today was not, but just mutual? That's about it?
I don't even know if it was that. I definitely might have kissed her, for real. Like you know what I'm saying? Maybe some touching, but like, I don't...
Touching on her breasts?
I don't know. I mean, it could have progressed, you know what I mean? Like, but I can't say that it was something would have happened for sure.
Right, because you don't know till it happens, of course.
Like you can, it's like I said earlier. I mean, you could talk to somebody easily whenever you're not face to face with them. You know what I mean? But whenever you're in person, things tend to go a lot of different ways. You know what I mean? Like, we could feel each other out. I mean, feel good with each other and comfortable with each other on the phone or in messages. But whenever we get around, like face to face, whenever it's really there, that's when, you know what I'm saying? That's whenever the true the acts have to happen. And if somebody's not comfortable with it, or the other person's shy, or like I felt bad or something like that, then
right,
it could, I can't do this. You know what I mean? So you can't really tell. That's in my opinion.
Right.
You can't really say that something's gonna be until you do it.
Of course. And but obviously when it said, and she's fully into it, when it said, yeah, baby, you're gonna suck my in the car today, blah 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 blah. And again, none of this was anything, because if this was, I don't even think I could be talking to you right now. But like, none of this was. She was like, oh, yes, I'm into it. Then you're like, oh, I'm into it too. Like, this was stuff like this was said today. That's why I think the farthest possibility that could have happened today, like at least when you were driving here, did it come into your mind that, okay, I might get my sucked today?
maybe, yeah, but it wasn't like it's not. It's like I said, it's not the reason I was coming down here.
Right.
I said all that. But really, we weren't gonna leave. You know what I mean?
Well, like, were you more thinking, you know, if she's fully comfortable with this, that's a possibility this could happen?
Maybe, yeah, but I would have to be fully comfortable with it too.
Right.
Whenever I was face to
Right.
face with her.
If you guys were both fully comfortable, like then that's when it would have happened. Is that correct?
Maybe, yeah, but where would it have happened? You know what I mean?
Well, in the car, obviously.
Yeah, I don't have AC in my truck. I do, but only whenever it's moving. So I'm not going to sit out in my truck with her. You know what I mean? So like, that's why I really wanted to just go into the movies and like buy some movie tickets and watch whatever she wanted to watch, and then let her go on her way with her cousin.
Oh well, I'm not doubting that, you know, watching a movie would have happened, but you know, if you're telling me that, you know, kissing, maybe a little bit of touching, you know, would that also? I mean,
what I felt like from the beginning is that she wouldn't have been comfortable.
Okay.
She's, you know what I mean? Like, she's never had anything like that. She's never had like a real boyfriend or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't think I thought from the very beginning that she wouldn't be all right with going past that. You know what I mean?
With the kissing and touching?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't believe that she would have. You know what I mean? It's like she says she wants to. You know what I mean? Because that's what everybody believes in now, you know what I'm saying? Because it's forced upon us through media and all that. But like, I don't really think she would have been comfortable with it. You know what I mean?
So it's more of like, so basically the sucking possibility, whatever. So the kissing and touching is the farthest you were comfortable with today? Or?
I can't tell you yes or no, but like, I didn't plan on it. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't see her. I couldn't, in my mind, imagine her going past anything like that. You know what I mean? Because
going past kissing and touching?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because, you know, she's younger. She's never had a real boyfriend. She's never really done any of that. You know what I mean? Like, even when the first time I said something to her, even along the lines of, it wasn't even real intense. She was like, keep going, please. And I was like, you know what I mean? And that was back, I don't know, when we first started talking about it.
Okay.
Liking each other. So.
Okay, so I'm just trying to get this straight here. So basically, like, you know, only had she been comfortable with it, somehow, you know, after the movie or whatever, during the movie, would have just been kissing and touching, and that's about it?
Yeah, I mean, you really want me to honestly tell you what I think that would have happened? I would have held her hand a little bit. She would have wanted to hold my hand because she was talking about that. We might have kissed each other. You know what I mean? And maybe some just small touching. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like I'm a motorboater or put my face in her crotch in the middle of anywhere around here. You know what I mean? Like,
so it would have just been maybe like a squeeze of the ass or a squeeze of the breast,
maybe,
something like that.
Yeah, like, but I wouldn't have. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I would have had my hand on her and kissed her, like, and she would have felt like I don't know, like it was uncomfortable for her, I would have stopped instantly.
Oh, right, okay. So
I didn't see it progressing past that.
Okay. So basically, the farthest you saw going today was just breast touching, and maybe if she was only if she was 100% okay with it. You probably like.
I would touch her butt before.
Okay.
Because she told me she was self-conscious about that. You know what I mean? But then she started acting like she was opening up to me. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I can say some things, but that's not necessarily the way things would have worked out possibly.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like, honestly, like I said, I don't think that anything would have went past
the touching.
Yeah, maybe holding her hand. You know what I mean? Like I don't. Definitely, we probably definitely kissed, held hands, but that's about it. I couldn't see anything going past that.
Well, I mean, it was
with her being uncomfortable. I mean, her being young and never having gone through anything like that.
You know what I mean? Right. So I mean, like I said, okay, so with like the butt squeeze and just the light touch of a breast, that would have happened only if she's 100% okay?
Yeah, only if she was comfortable.
Okay,
like,
okay.
Whenever
well, I appreciate that, dude.
Whenever we've been alone, you know what I mean? Like,
just a little squeeze here or something?
No, that's not even what I'm getting at. Like, I would have felt out her body language. You know what I'm saying? And if I felt like she was uncomfortable in any way, you know what I mean? I wouldn't even attempted to do that.
Right.
So I would, you know what I'm saying? Like, if she just wanted to sit there and hold hands in the movie the whole time and that's it, I would have been cool with that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like,
and if she's kind of if she was kind of hinting like she does want to go do like the butt touching and the breast, that's only when it would have happened.
Well, yeah, if we was sitting there and we had some time to be alone.
Yeah.
Like standing outside, you know what I mean? And like there's nobody around. Maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but like I would have felt like you know, I already feel bad for it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, people don't like that. So, and I get that.
Right.
I told her that. You know what I mean? It's not something that, you know what I mean? It's,
Right. Okay. So it was hard to visualize it going past like this and this.
yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Definitely. And I can, and after she hung out with me, I was thinking probably she'd be like, this dude's old. I don't like, you know what I mean? It was fun on the phone, and you know what I mean? That's about it. You know what I mean? She's young, dude. Like, I couldn't see her. Why would she want to be with me? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Why would I want to be with her? You know what I mean? It's like it couldn't have been something that lasted.
Give me 1 sec. I'm so sorry.
Someone's blowing me up soon.
Yeah. Let me. Mom just called me. Hey, Mom. Mom. Yeah, I'm doing something right now. Can you make the pickles? Yeah. I'll probably be home like in an hour or something. Okay. Bye. Finally visiting my mom, dude. It's been a while.
Is that a code?
Huh?
Is that a code?
Nah, it's visiting her, man.
Your mom lives here in Houston or what?
She doesn't live in Houston. She actually lives in Weimar.
Weimar? That's right there by me.
Yeah. She usually kind of lives in the country, like, I don't know. I'd say more like Schulenburg, actually.
Oh, yeah, on 90, old 90 in between them? I got you.
Yeah. But, yeah, I'd say we're probably an hour from here. But, yeah, I live in, you know where Baytown is?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's where I'm from, so I don't get to see her much.
East of Houston. I mean,
Yeah. So are you from Houston or Columbus?
I'm from Columbus.
Okay.
I've been in Columbus almost my whole life.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm judged there for being like my past like that, but you know what I mean? I don't really care what people think anymore. You know what I mean? I'm past that.
Right.
I know that I have a good heart and that I'm a good person, so I don't really care what people say about me. You
Right.
know what I mean? And I do my best to make people happy. You know what I mean? To try to help people out. So.
Right. And that's why I think this was just like a mutual happiness that you guys both wanted here.
Like I was saying, I wasn't trying to. From the very beginning, I didn't want anything like that. You know.
Right.
And it progressed. You know, I don't know. It happened fast.
Right.
You know what I mean? It wasn't something that I was definitely not expecting.
How did you meet Heather?
Facebook dating. Yeah. I've met a lot of girls on there, you know what I mean? And some of them are kind of snobby like that. Because I'm honest with somebody. Whenever, you know, I'll tell them from the very beginning, look, before things get any further, you know what I mean? I've been to prison. I just got out not too long ago. And I didn't want to tell you this later. And, you know, you'd be like, whoa, why didn't you tell me that? You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't like the fact that I've been to prison. So, you know what I mean? They don't want to talk to me anymore.
Right.
They just kind of, oh, that's not a problem, and this and that, but you can tell they started shying away from me. You know what I mean? And I don't want somebody that's gonna judge me later on about it. You know what I mean? So, like if I tell you and you say you're all right with it, and then later on you try to throw it in my face, that's not cool. You know?
Yeah, of course. But you know.
But yeah, man, this is definitely yeah. And I knew better. You know what I mean? And I'm kind of relieved. You know what I'm saying? Like it's over. You know what I mean? I don't.
Big weight off your shoulders.
Yeah, because I was uncomfortable the whole time, man. And then certain points, yeah, it would be like, okay, you know what I mean? And then whenever I would wake up the next day, I'm like, damn.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I guess I'll phrase it this way: is there a possibility that something could have happened today that you regretted?
No, definitely not today, because like I said, we wouldn't have been able to do anything. And
right.
I don't think she would have been along with any of the things that we talked about. I don't think she would have went along with any of that anyway, because she doesn't know anything about it. You know what I mean? And she says she might want to, but then whenever it starts happening, in my mind, I see her getting uncomfortable right away. So, you know what I mean?
Right. Like, you know, but obviously, you know, when stuff is said like, baby, I've never seen any girl of any age do that to their panties, you are going to get... You have a very special little... And it's mine. I'm going to make you... Right.
Yeah,
so...
I mean, things were said, yeah. And I can't say that they weren't. You know what I mean? But like...
Right. I mean, so far, I mean, look, again, this isn't because you like or don't like young girls. This is because you like Maddie and she likes you.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm sure you talk this way to Heather, right?
Me and Heather talk just we have a mutual thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, me and Heather have an actual like bond. You know what I'm saying? We've created a bond.
Right.
Like, that's my girl.
We've also met her a few times in person.
You've met her?
No, you've met her a few
Oh,
times in
yeah,
person.
yeah. I've stayed at weekends at her house.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like, the only reason that I wasn't doing this week because I was planning. I got to do something for my aunt tomorrow. She's just having surgery Tuesday, and I have to build like a little ramp
Right.
off the porch. You know what I mean? So she's old. You know what I'm saying? She can barely see. So that's why I'm not going. That's why I didn't go to Heather's this week.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then Maddie was like, "Hey, you want to meet my cousin's going to be in town. You want to meet Saturday?" But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Definitely.
Right. But, you know, like, there was also stuff said, like, take a couple naughty. You meant naughty when you said this right here. Okay. Take a couple naughty pics, babe. I want to see the wet against those tight panties. I mean, you know.
I know, man. It's not right.
Did she send you any of those photos?
No,
I know you didn't force any, but were you more of asking if she just wanted to send them or not?
Yeah,
Okay.
I wasn't being to the point where I was like, well, if you can't send me nothing, no, it wasn't like that.
It was more if she wanted to?
Yeah, I asked, yeah, but it was, I don't know, man. It was a strange situation for me from the beginning.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't even know how it happened. You know what I mean? It just happened. You know, and it's weird that I had feelings for her. You know what I mean? Because I would never thought, you know, I don't know, it's just a strange situation.
Right. And
I want to be with Heather. You know what I mean? So it really is.
I mean, like, you know, obviously, you know, I know Maddie wasn't the love of your life or anything, but when you say, can daddy stretch out his little princess,
Like,
you want to suck your princess, daddy's hard. And again, look what she's saying. Yes, I do. Like, you know.
I said something about role playing. You know what I'm saying? And she said, I can't.
Right.
She was talking about walking out of the mall and holding my hands, and you know what I'm saying? Like.
Right. Like, there was, like, I understand there's role playing. Me and my girlfriend role play. Okay. But.
It's one of my favorite things to do with like Heather and my ex. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, it makes it better. You know what I mean?
Me and her role play because we play with our rolls. We're 300 pounds. No, she's not that fat. I squish her. But look, I mean, I understand there's role playing, but there's also stuff said like, "I'm on the way. I can't wait for you to suck me." That's stuff like that said.
Yeah,
you know, I don't remember exactly, but
I mean, I know what I said. You know what I mean? It's like,
right.
I feel like you're banging it into me now, and I already feel bad about it. And I appreciate like how you're making me realize. You know what I'm saying? That the shit that I should have known better, pretty much.
Right, and you know, and I do know you know better now, but you know, when that stuff's said, at least, you know, like I get the touching and the kissing. If she wasn't comfortable with going past that, I know it wouldn't have gone past that. But I'm saying is, you know, just comfortable or not, like, you know, I know you weren't going to force anything. I know this, but I just need to know, like, you know, you mentioned there would be no today.
Yeah.
You know, as in, you never said I'm not going to. You said there would be no today because I'll have the truck.
Like I said, I don't think that it would have went farther than anything today. You know what I mean? I think she would have realized, you know what I'm saying, like, I'm too old for her and she's too young, you know, and even if I couldn't see her being comfortable with me even touching her side, you know what I mean? Like, she's never had that with a dude.
Right,
You know
and I understand, like, if she wasn't comfortable with that, it wouldn't have happened, but, you know, I mean, Joseph, like, there's I'm just going to tell you, I don't have everything printed out. There's 350 pages of excitement coming from her and you. There's 350 screenshots, pages of pure excitement coming from her and you. And like I said, if you came to me with chat logs of me talking to my girlfriend that way and her talking to me that way, I know what's up. And you know, this wasn't, and like I said, I do appreciate you making sure that she was comfortable with everything. But, you know, has she been comfortable today? Do I think it could have happened down the line, like a month or two from now or something? Only had she been okay with it, she's more introduced to this stuff? I do think so. Am I correct?
Yeah, but I don't see myself being comfortable with it. You know what I'm saying? Like I knew whenever I came down here, you know what I'm saying? Like it would be nothing like what we were talking about. You know what I mean? And like you said, it was a weight off my shoulders because I have feelings for Heather, and I don't, you know what I'm saying? I really didn't really want to keep on doing this. You know what I mean? I was uncomfortable with it myself. Yeah, there's an attraction, definitely. You know what I mean? And I have feelings for it, but just because you have feelings for somebody doesn't mean that you have to keep on pursuing it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But I understand, but, you know, and it could be, like I said, because, you know, she's not judging you. You know, this is like your safe, I don't mean to use the word, but it's like your safe space. And, you know, I really, along with her not judging you, I absolutely believe that, you know, there was a comfort level. I understand the situation with her is uncomfortable, but with her yourself, you were absolutely comfortable. She was comfortable with you too.
Yeah, it's like but whenever she made me comfortable, I felt more comfortable. You know, whenever she was telling me things are okay, like then I would feel more comfortable. You know what I mean? But still though, after things were said and it was all over with, and like the next day, or she went to sleep or I went to sleep or whatever, you know what I mean? I didn't feel comfortable with myself. It was only whenever I was talking to her, you know what I mean, that it would progress. So, you know, and I realized that. I knew that. I've been knowing that. You know what I mean? So I just
and that's why I think there was that possibility. Like there'd be some days where you're like, I can't do this. There'd be some days where you're like, okay, let's just do it. And that's why I think, like, you know, and this is only, and of course, if she told you to stop at any time, I think you would have blocked her.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't, you know what I mean? I thought about unfollowing her a couple times, you know, just so, you know, she didn't have to, you know what I'm saying, experience anything that would be uncomfortable for her. But I didn't want to make her feel like she was unwanted or create some kind of, what would you call it whenever somebody's, not a phobia, but be self-conscious. Like,
right.
You know what I mean?
Like how you used to be.
Yeah. I didn't want to make her so she would have to. That's something you don't ever lose. It stays with you. But why didn't he want me? You know what I mean? So it's kind of like as I would think about it, I was like, man, I put myself in a bad situation.
Right. So if she was comfortable today with everything, what was the plan after today?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Right.
I mean,
because
I want to move to Congo with Heather. And you know what I'm saying? If that's the case, then
right. But on one hand, you're telling me you don't want to make her feel bad. You don't want to make her feel uncomfortable. You don't want to like make her feel abandoned.
Billy Currington, let you down easy.
Yeah.
Let you down easy, and you know what I mean. It was no matter what happened today, you know what I mean. It was whether we had fun with each other or you know what I'm saying, we felt each other out. I was really planning to move with Heather,
right?
And I was. You know what I mean? I really didn't want to do this. You know what I mean? But am I attracted to her? Yeah. Do these things turn me on? Yeah, she had me turned on. Yeah, I definitely thought about it. Absolutely.
Okay.
But I couldn't see myself going through with it. You know what I mean? It's
going through with like the actual stuff.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I couldn't see myself. First, because I don't think she could do it. You know what I mean? That would make me feel bad if I would even try to push it. You know what I mean? Second, I would feel so bad after it happened that I wouldn't, you know what I mean? I would probably start
right.
To not have to think about that.
Right, and that's why I'm thinking this is more of a turnaround that can and is being addressed. Like when there's stuff said, like, you know, like on the way here, you know, thank God it didn't happen. Thank God, like it didn't. For your sake, like
definitely. For her
not
sake,
for her sake, for your sake, for both of you, because maybe you guys would have been comfortable with more stuff. Maybe you guys wouldn't have, but. On the way here, when stuff is said, like, I mean, you got very carried away.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did. I mean, I'm very outspoken.
Absolutely.
I'm very I have no filter.
Right.
So
me either.
And it's
but,
like,
you know, when there's 350 pages of basically talk, and, you know, like I get the kissing and touching, that's more realistic today. But, you know, when you're literally saying on the way here, and she's 100% into it, you know, you're gonna.
Yeah, I feel you.
Okay, so.
Me, I know.
Right. So
it looks horrible.
Right. So I'm not saying it's not horrible. It's more of just a slip up. Horrible is saying you're going to run away with me.
Yeah, I guess so.
This isn't horrible. This is just a slip up. But when stuff is said like, you know, you're gonna suck on this. She's like, oh, he. I mean, it's very apparent that both of you guys at least wanted that possibility today. Is that fair to say? Of sucking, just sucking, not sucking.
I mean, if there was, I'm not gonna say if there was a chance that we could go somewhere or something like that, maybe.
Okay.
But like I had no inclination to even leave here. You know what I mean? So that was not gonna happen in my mind. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I said all that, but I wasn't planning to leave this mall.
Right. But if there's an empty spot in the parking lot, and you know
it's daylight, so I knew that nothing would happen. Like, I mean, like I said all these things, yeah, but like you probably don't believe me, but I knew nothing was gonna happen to me. I knew it. You know what I mean?
Well, besides the kissing and the touching, you mean?
Yeah, I would. Okay. I mean, that's probably. I know that would be the extent of it, and like I don't even know about the touching. You know what I mean? Like, have I thought about it? Absolutely. I'm not gonna lie to you and say that I haven't. But do I see it happening? No, I didn't see it happening. You know what I'm saying? She was, even whenever she told me we could leave, I didn't want to tell her that we're just gonna stay here. You know what I mean? Because you know she had her mind set up. I'm more of a, I could talk to somebody better in person. You know what I mean? Like, I can say whatever on the phone or on a message, but whenever I'm in person with somebody, they can actually see that I'm actually genuine about what I'm saying, and that I'm going to be real.
Right. But this is an attraction that you guys both had to each other. 350 pages of sexy talk. This is, you know, in a way, you mentioned it was a fantasy in the beginning for you. You know, you said, I'm so glad I've never acted on my urges for a young girl.
Yeah, well,
right.
I mean, and it's not even like her age, you know what I'm saying?
No, I
know like mid-teen, like 17, 16.
Right, I understand that. And, you know, she's a teen, too. She's closer to an adult than a kid, right? Yeah. So she's kind of in that in-between. And you said, I'm glad I waited for the right one.
Yeah, like, because there was an attraction, you know what I mean?
Of course.
I can't tell you that there wasn't, you know what I mean? I can't just sit here and say that, you know, I haven't thought about it, because I have. But I can sit here and honestly tell you that I know nothing was going to happen today. And I planned on nothing happening later in the future, because I don't feel comfortable with it. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, am I attracted to it? Did I want to? Yeah, definitely. But I know the consequences, and I know how I would feel afterwards.
Right.
You know
so were there times where you were more carried away than other times?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I believe that I got way carried away. You know what I mean? Because whenever she was saying like she was comfortable in the things she would say, but it's going to progress. You know what I'm saying? It's like rolling downhill.
And is that when you thought of actually carrying out that stuff in the chats?
Yeah, I mean, I thought about it, but I couldn't see myself doing it. You know,
Okay.
I couldn't see her being comfortable with it, or me even like loving myself afterwards. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because she's innocent, and she's like.
And I know you had that like guilty feeling the whole time. Okay, I understand that, but something kept bringing you back. Probably the fact that she was cute, and not judgmental of you, and.
I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause I tried to push her away a couple times. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know. Like you said, there's something there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I felt some attraction to her that kept bringing me back.
Right.
You know what I mean? And now I think that you pinpointed it. You know what I'm saying? Saying that she's probably because she don't judge me. You know what I mean? Because
and I think that's why this happened. Like, sure. I mean, I know the first time me and my girlfriend met, you know, of course we didn't do anything but kiss. But I'm saying, you know, if this were to become something where you guys have the same vibe over the phone that y'all had, and because the thing is, you just don't know. You talk to her for 2 seconds. Yeah. You just don't know. I think there's a possibility this turns into something where it's like, okay, if she's super comfortable, she'll try to suck your. If she's okay with it and you're okay with it, is that more accurate?
Talking about for today?
No, it's down the line, like a few months from now or next time or whatever.
I mean, I haven't even really thought about that, because I couldn't see it going past today. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I'm attracted to it, and it's strange for me. And yes, I have thought about it, but I don't. Could it have happened? Could we have been super comfortable and I changed my whole outlook on it, and then things progressed from today? Yeah, there's a possibility, but I couldn't see it happening. You know what I mean? Because I wouldn't feel comfortable with myself, even. You know, as soon as I would have left today, the movie, I would have got in my truck and been like, "What the are you doing?
Right.
You gotta stop. Leave her alone."
Yeah, no, and I know that's probably a bigger possibility than even the other thing. But, you know, with stuff progressing and getting carried away. Do you mean by the possibility of it progressing? Like, does that mean like or intercourse?
Yeah, maybe down the line, but
Okay.
you know what I mean. Like she can't even leave her house.
Right.
You know what I mean. She's with her mom all the time.
Right.
So that's another thing that I'm sitting here thinking about. You know what I'm saying? Like that makes me feel safer. You know what I'm saying? Than anything being carried out, because I mean, how often would I get to see her? I figured things would dwindle away. You know what I mean? They would peter off. You know what I mean? Eventually. You know what I mean?
So is this more of if she was just kept being present and she kept wanting it, then it would have kind of been like, okay, maybe this stuff could happen?
Yeah, but I knew from the beginning that probably was not a strong possibility.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But she told me like her mom makes her go everywhere with her.
Right,
You know
of
what I
course.
mean? So like I figured that I didn't even think it would go this far, dude. Like I didn't see any of this even manifesting. You know what I mean?
Right, but so far it has.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
So this was less about you kind of pushing the issue. This is more of, hey, she's attractive, she's cute. If she finds a way to be able to hang and chill other times, and she wants to try the stuff I'm saying, hey, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I don't care. Is that more accurate? If I'm comfortable with it.
If I'm yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but like I said, I mean, I can't say that I'm not. I wasn't attracted, and I haven't thought about it. But
Right.
But I don't act on impulse anymore. You know what I mean? I've learned that's part of prison did that to me, and just being around, like, if I acted on impulse still, I'd be high right now. You know what I mean? And I'll be doing
Right.
stupid
How you
shit.
doing? Lieutenant McClure, Katy Police. You're all right, man. Just relax. We'll talk about this.
What's going on, man? What am I being arrested for?
Being a
You're detained right now, man.
Bro, yes!
did it, guys.
Who's gonna be my?
I will. Yeah.
We're gonna go to our substation.
All right, cool.
Y'all would follow
Yeah, we'll follow you. You don't get into like some shit.
That was a good shot.
I'm gonna go to our substation. I'm gonna make sure I pass you down before doing that. Oh, now the connection is doing this. Oh, they got the same guy arrested.
You know what time it is right now? It's 2 hours before we're done.
What's the name of y'all's group?
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
That is fun. Oh, people got in there. Oh, yeah. Dude, I see you get my
Just gonna let no cameras and stuff.
Oh, yeah, we're done.
Alright, I'm gonna cut it.